everyone, welcome to our leadership series podcast, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives. Today we have Dr. Prashant Pansare with us, the CEO of Intelligent Technologies and Scale. India is famous for its service economy, for providing talented software engineers to the world. In spite of all the humongous talent here, we hardly see any products coming out of India. You have broken this notion by creating an award-winning platform, Scale, a low-code, pro-code, scalable data science platform. So how did you do that? Please tell us about the product building journey.
For sure. So Anaga, thanks for choosing me to speak to you, and my compliments to your work and the broadcast series that you do. And it's quite motivating and inspiring, and I hope some of the reflections of the journey that I have had during my last 2 decades of IT career, some takeaways for young entrepreneurs and IT professionals. Um, Probably you asked the last question first, but I'm happy that you asked this question. In fact, one of the very first fact was that why India do not have products, why we are not in IP creation, and why we are only looking at the IT services as the glamorous career, and only being the skill provider, resource providers to the global markets. These were some of the phases that we were going through when we started career about a couple of decades back. And what happens, this is a very classic, I would say, journey of any Indian IT professional, because from different walks of life. In my case, I'm a mechanical engineer and then accidentally got into IT. Was doing fairly good in corporate career, in IT. Became an accidental entrepreneur in 2004, and when this journey was actually unfolding, few things happen in our life, and sometimes we react, but sometimes we have to respond to it. React means sometimes you're not happy with it, and then we just react it either in our families or at offices, or sometimes people choose different career tracks. But when I decided to respond to that situation, there was an inner calling that I want to do something different, and what that different could be. So that crossroad was entrepreneurial journey, or I wanted to go in academia, and I was pretty serious about that. Whether I wanted to be in the knowledge business because that is also a part of my core. But I realized that probably I cannot be full-time educationist. So I decided to be in the knowledge business, but in a little different way. So I set up Intelligent as a bootstrap company in 2004 as a pure play business intelligence company. And at that time, there were hardly any companies with that single-minded focus in that. And when I look back in this journey, probably we were India's amongst first 5, and probably Pune's first pure play business intelligence company in 2004. And what was really appealing or unique about this particular profession is how do you blend together technology and business knowledge in providing wisdom or business acumen. I give a very simple analogy to this. So if your customers are Akbars, business intelligence is like being Birbal. If your customer business is big Chandragupta, your Chanakyas, giving them corporate wisdom. And it is a little different kind of an approach where not only technical skills but blending that with process knowledge, domain knowledge, business knowledge. How do you combine that together and provide solution? So in that sense, it was kind of a knowledge product, and we did fairly good in our first few days, and we were also recognized by Deloitte as India's fast 50 technology growing company. There was a global WorldCom award to the company, and we were going places. Right. But then what happens? We hit the glass ceiling because the way we were rendering our knowledge business to the customers was in form of the analytics as outsourcing kind of a partnership, and we were building lot of analytics accelerators as well as frameworks that will help customers in obtaining reliable business intelligence out of it. But we had a lot of dependency on technology foundational blocks, and either that would be some proprietary platforms or it would be open source. And there was always, a constraint in corporate terms. What we call is operating under the glass ceiling. If your solutions can solve the problems, can you solve them globally? And if you want to solve them globally, you really need a scalable architecture. And I'm not saying only that architecture is a technical architecture as such, but what is that business architecture that can help you that leapfrogging, beyond boundaries. And that's where I realized that it is not only about having the wisdom and know-how to solve the problem, but if you truly want to scale an ability, it needs to be in the productized way. And then I started realizing that what we really lack in Indian IT industry is product thinking. Our mindset socially as well as in a corporate is so much of service oriented that we always think that what best I can do for meeting the needs of the customer, rather than thinking ahead of time and having some probably a risk appetite and see that if I offer this, it can solve a problem. So that was probably the phase in which my career evolved, and from maybe a specialist business intelligence company when we wanted to get into the product line of business, we realized that today the digitalization is exploding, and more digital means more data, and more data means more need for data democratization. The world is running on data, but data is not often understood, and people are generating data, collecting data, storing data, but what are they doing with it? And just think about it, how can you define data as a capital asset class to in true sense derive the value out of it? Then if you look at that entire process of deriving the value out of data, that value chain has been segregated in data generation to data acquisition and exploration, then data enrichment or data engineering, then data science, machine learning, and then comes in data visualization or information collaboration, so to say. When we look at these 5 different pillars, there are technologies, there are products, there are companies who have actually created their legacy, but there are hardly any companies who actually have taken the horizontalization approach in terms of embracing everything. In offerings, few companies do have that, but that is through the acquired product portfolio. So we felt the need that if we want to really simplify data science, or if we really want to democratize data science, what we should do is demolishing these walls in the entire data value chain, and do that not in a integrated manner or an interface manner, but in truly unified sense, using one single source code. So then when we went to our drawing board and we were breaking our head that how that can be possible, because then at the core what we build is the machine learning or data modeling studio that has prediction engine, text mining engine, and forecasting, also for deep learning. So if that is an integrated studio, how can you achieve the data integration engine and then a data visualization engine as a horizontal platform? Now, why there is a need for such kind of an unified platform? If you look at the way businesses are changing and evolving and becoming digital very fast, what is happening is that the business models are being platformed. And what I mean by platforming business model is that look at how transportation business has been Uberized without manufacturing cars, the need is redefined. How the hospitality business has been platformed, because one side you have creators, another side you have consumers. They are connected on an internet pipe, and we call them as aggregators. So in last decade, if you actually see, the technology revolution has actually sprung the emergence of such aggregators, and that aggregating business is, how I would define it, as a platforming your business model. And when you're bringing that platform for creators and consumers, then it actually operates on the law of attraction and consumption. And be it any OTT or shared economy based business model, if you see, you will see that how they have platformed this business model, and these platform business model operate at a massive scale. So it is not only solving a problem, but it is solving the problem at the scale, and that is where the game of platforms have come in play. What we used to call earlier is people, process, and technology. Now it has become people, technology, and data. So data is actually coming at the core, and it is redefining the game by platforming business models. So when we realize that there is a huge potential there, not too many players, because everybody has their silos. Building an integrated platform like this was quite a good thought, but we knew the challenge ahead of us. Right? It was not an easy task to build up something like this, where there are established players. On other side, you have open source tools and communities, which has a very wider adoption in this space. And there is also a need and a reason why the data science community has always propagated open source. So building the product in that space was quite adventurous, I would say, but no fun doing easy things, right? I mean, we enjoy doing difficult things in an easier way. So that is how we started and landed up with building India's first unified data science platform.
Right. Wow, what a journey! As you mentioned, from being India's first file to Google's first, and then aggregators, data democratization, and data being at the core of business now today. With ChatGPT, everybody is saying the future is here, and everybody has been gung-ho about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and how it is going to take over and replace human jobs. There's a lot of excitement along with some fear. So, what do you think the future holds with data at the center of everything?
Well, I mean, that was an expected question because everybody is talking about it. Let me give you an analogy to give my view on this particular point. AI, machine learning, or even data science has been there. These are branches of science in some or other form. What we have done is that started automating ways of executing processes using algorithms, and we call that in modern days artificial intelligence. Is artificial intelligence a need of our and need of the society? Yes, it is. Especially in a populated country like us, the local low-cost innovations are very important. We look at Uberization, we look at the food tech, be it Airbnb and Swiggy, Zomato kind of business models. They have actually solved some problems. They have probably automated or reduced some jobs, but they have also created new opportunities and new jobs as well. Now, after entertainment, payment, fintech, transportation, these type of industries, the next big need and opportunity in Indian context and globally is bringing in this OTT based shared economy, asset light business models in healthcare, agriculture, governance, citizen services and engagements. Has a huge, massive, big potential. Now, if you want to do it at that scale, you definitely need artificial intelligence. What has happened? ChatGPT kind of generative AI has been evolving in past few years. It has been productized and it has been launched. So sometimes what happens is that we overhype it and we create sensation. Sometimes it might lead to fear or spark a lot of debates. Let me give you a simple analogy. It's like when you're a music fan, there is an artist, there is an art, and there is an instrument. And when you blend all these three things together, that creates a melody. So there is a melody, maybe in a form of a song, and then you want to perform that. So when you are performing that in a concert, you have an orchestra which is little on the larger size, and then while you are performing it, there is a lot of background music that is happening to keep that momentum and motion and the high spirit and energy of the concert, right? Now these are some of the so to say automated background things that are required for life to go on, but that creation of a melody is something which is actually unique and creative and problem solving. I feel that artificial intelligence is not going to create that, but what it is going to do is that once you define that this is the solution to the problem, and these are some of the repetitive tasks that needs to be automated at a hyper scale and at an affordable cost, that is where artificial intelligence problem can be the solution, a cost effective solution for the hyper scale. Now what it is going to do is to look at, say for example, food tech industry. What has happened? Food tech, people are not traditionally going to the restaurants and enjoying food there, but they are doing that takeaway. Now that takeaway probably what has done is change the way restaurants or cloud kitchens are managing their business. They have reduced probably the customer dining area, broaden their kitchens more. Maybe some people who are directly involved at the kitchen level, those jobs have changed, but delivery boys jobs have surged. So what is happening in using tech, few jobs will be reduced, optimized or eliminated, but new jobs will be created, right? And there are so many different ways and means with which these technologies can make your cost of transaction affordable, right? Just look at the fintech revolution in India, what it has done. Can you imagine if you wouldn't have had our digital wallets during the lockdown and you had to go to the bank, withdraw money to buy some grocery and the medicine, what would have happened? So what happens in 2 tap, you are actually being able to do your fintech and payment. Understand, that's a blessing, that's a boon, in that sense. Now why that is happening, a traditional payment industry is going through disruption. But what is happening is that payment technology is becoming embedded into so many different things, right? And it has changed the course of life. There are some areas where society or probably there will be the unrest in some sections which we call as the resistance to change, when you are bringing in these social transformations or business transformations that are happening. Can we stop that? Probably we can control that in a little meaningful way. You cannot really completely stop it. But if you look at how this world is getting hyper connected and going digital, that is going to be the way forward. So ChatGPT is going to be your smart virtual assistant to simplify a few things which you would take otherwise to do it. And let me give you a very simple example that happened. I was talking to my younger son, and he is a 9th standard student, and he was telling me that how he is going to be using ChatGPT in his work. And I was telling him that okay, it is to simplify, he has to be smart enough to know what is a question and how he has to phrase so that he gets the right output. But that cannot be the substitute for developing his own intelligence, discipline, and maybe also improving handwriting when he's writing. And we were debating that okay, is that the right way to do it, or when there are tools available, when there is a free ChatGPT kind of a service available, what he should do. And I just gave him this thought that imagine your mother wants to write a letter to you wishing you on your birthday. Do you want that message to be generated by ChatGPT, or you want your mom to handwrite that message? And then to that he was quite excited and said that no, I want her to wish me. So understand human relations, human creativity, problem solving, empathy. This is not going to happen in the automated way or in an artificial intelligence way, but it will solve some of the problems. It is something in the overall digitalization or your um customer experience journey. It is not everything. Today what is happening is probably the debate that it has sparked is going so beyond extremes that people think that okay, it is going to be a kind of end of world beyond ChatGPT. It's certainly not that. The hype will stabilize and standardize. There will be certain professions, there will be some ways of work, ways of life that will be better automated, that will stabilize, right? 5 years back, people were not being able to imagine the world without a Facebook. If you look at, they are already in decline because there is an extreme of exposure that is happening and people want to isolate. There were times that people thought that okay, without WhatsApp they cannot breathe, but there were other tools. And if you actually look at the millennials, they are more digitally detoxinated compared to their previous digital generations, so to say. So it is a way, it is a new technology way, it is creating a differentiated experience, and what it is bringing in is a very different way of life. So certainly it will be a wait and watch that how the technology is being adopted and embraced, but it has certainly created a lot of excitement. It has also raised some concerns with the governments as well as the societies as well as industry. That how it will not only automate but how it may drastically change some of the ways of work. More we try to change, more it remains the same. So hence the few things in life are the constant, and that's change.
Right. So you have explained it beautifully through a lot of examples like creation of Melody, cloud kitchens, digital wallets, decline of Facebook, and how human relations still hold a special place and that one cannot be replaced by ChatGPT. Let's talk about you being an innovator at heart. What was that one idea that led to the forming of Intelligent Technologies and Rubyscape? I mean, was it a like one life-changing moment?
Well, I mean, I would not say that one moment that becomes a defining moment to change life, because probably that way I come from a typical middle class, cultured, educated family background. But it is actually the series of incidences and episodes that keep happening in your life, and sometimes we are not listening to our inner voice, and hence it goes unnoticed. So I would not classify that there was one incident that triggered me to give up my corporate career and follow the entrepreneurial path. But there are a series of small things that were happening, and while I was going through that, I was constantly uh, asking myself, is that do I want to enjoy only career or enjoy life? And when you are looking at a career, is it only the glamour that you would want to show to the external world that okay, what you're doing and how you're doing, or you really want to bring some little meaningful way to your work, and through that work you are being able to make some meaningful contributions or change in the society that you live in. Now what happens is that when we are going with the flow, things happen, right? Good or bad. Sometimes we don't notice, or we are too much patient. Our culture and upbringing makes us so much meditating every day that we don't get angry. If you don't get angry, you will not feel anything about it, you will not change it. So when I thought that okay, this is not the way, and it was nothing personal, it was nothing unusual, but it was if you really want to solve some problems at a scale, there are so many limitations. You are operating under the glass ceiling, and you are not really an impact maker or a change maker or problem solver, because you are operating in predefined territories. They say that where you live most in your life is in your mind, and don't choose to live there as prisoner. So when I was going through these phases, that this is the problem that we can solve, and if I have to solve this problem, then what are my dependent factors? Okay, for the scale, for the cost, for the efficiency, for regional or geographical barrier, so many factors, right? So if you really want to be an impact maker, you want to break that glass ceiling, have an autonomy to think that how can you think differently. Interestingly, I realized that when we looked at data as new soil, I'm purposely not saying oil because oil can be used once, and then once it is used in say a combustion engine, it is evaporated, it is gone, it is converted that into energy and consumed. But soil can be nurtured and it can actually have multiple applications. And just think of it, today data is everywhere, in every connection, every interaction, every intervention, every observation, right? How well you understand it, and understanding of that data is machine learning and deep learning, and how you are being able to really influence the interventions in a more productive and a fruitful way is how you understand it. Now last few years, if you actually see that technology is getting commoditized, it is becoming more open, accessible, affordable, available, so that there are multiple permutations and combinations. But otherwise there was a stereotype way of doing certain things in a particular way, and it was becoming very expensive and complex to solve the problems because technologies or people who companies who would provide the technologies would provide that on their own terms and conditions, and hence the solutions were becoming very, very complex and expensive. Not that there were no problems, right? So when you want to simplify that, sometimes simplification is more difficult.
Yes.
And when we decided to apply our design thinking, our constant focus was on user centricity and simplification. The user centricity, and we defined our primary user as a citizen data scientist. So citizen data scientist is the one who is actually consuming technology for making better informed decision. They want to consume technology. So if you look at the creation and consumption part of the data, data science is not a rocket science. It has to be in the box that will, there is an engine, that is a machinery that is working behind ChatGPT. You are as intelligent as your question to ChatGPT, right? And then there is a machine that is working to produce the result. Now what we are trying to do in data science is that when you know what is a problem that you want to solve, what is a type of a data, structured or unstructured, image or audio or a video or a relational, what kind of data that you want to bring on, how you want to cluster, how we want to explore, how we want to organize that data, and then what are the insights that you want to derive. Now once you derive those insights, the real fun and the real impact is solving that problem at a scale. You might be super intelligent, and you derive that problem that, okay, if this is what is happening, this is the likely impact. Can you do that at a massive scale? Because today what is happening is everybody is digital and the data is exploding. So then what happens is when you are being able to solve a problem, then comes in a challenge for scaling it up. Thanks to cloud technology, thanks to so many different computational ways and meaning, the cost of storage, cost of data processing, cost of compute, cost of infrastructure has gone down drastically. But if you see, that world has been polarizing in technology world, that only everything is being feeding only into the specifically designed ecosystem, and that creates a I would say imbalance in the society at a large. And then what happens is that there is no perfect golden mean. So when we said that we wanted to solve the problem, we defined citizen data scientist as a data consumer. That also leads to that, how can you make life more efficient for a data scientist? So we call them as a pro code data scientist who want to build machine learning models and build the complexity inside the models. They are the seasoned data scientists. So the technology that we have developed is for seasoned data scientists as well as citizen data scientists. Now citizen data scientists are the ones who are going to be only consuming it. Let me give you a very simplified example, and I talked about it in earlier point that it is dependent on the law of consumption and attraction, right? YouTube creators and YouTube viewers. So if YouTube viewers will know the test of what is the quality and a type of a film, or if you want to enjoy the music, what you need is the appetite for the music. In local terms you'll say you need to be a kansen, you don't need to be a tansen, you don't need a sweet voice to understand the music, right? Citizen data scientists will consume that and they will select maybe algorithms or techniques or models, and then they will select their data sets, what we call as an automatic machine learning, auto ML, right? If you select, click and tick and say that go for it, can your platform be intelligent enough to understand that which algorithm, which techniques to be picked up and how it has to be processed to produce the result that the user is anticipating? And then when you say that okay, this is near to what I was looking for or this is not what I'm looking for, how you allow them to do that permutation and combination. So what we did was we introduced a Visual Studio kind of a interface which we call as a low code, drag and drop and click and tick, and then a super intelligent engine at the back end that will understand these instructions and execute the job and task and produce the results at the front end. So the user who is actually interacting with the system, he's not breaking his head, he's consuming the data science content, and he's not ending up becoming a programmer in coding and scripting, because that is what has made things complicated in data science. That is also what has made it look like it's not my job and it is something that somebody else will do it for me. Can this be on everybody's handheld device? Can this be on every desktop? And can every citizen consume it? It's like decoding your science, and when you are curious and you're looking at the sky, can I do my own weather forecast and then predict that okay, what is likely to happen and what am I likely to do, right? Can I predict that oh, it is likely to be raining today and I need to eat some good bhajis? That's a citizen happiness index, right? Because he knows that okay, today it is going to rain, so in the morning itself I'm provisioning that okay, what I'm going to eat when it rains, right? Now what he's doing is actually running his weather forecast. How accurate, how easy and how instant it can be. Look at the technology evolution through centuries, digital revolution in past few decades. Simplification is something that humanity has always respected and admired, and that is exactly what we are doing in complex world of data science and artificial intelligence.
Yes. Intel Labs has brought hundreds of ideas to life, each being unique. So how do you incubate these ideas? How do you choose which ideas to incubate? What is the process and system? And going one step ahead, how should one develop an innovative mindset from a young age?
Oh, that's an interesting question again, and I'll answer that in two parts. One is that why we were actually always imagining to do something different, do something crazy. We established a virtual innovation center called Innovator Labs, and Rubyscape is actually a byproduct of that. It started as an R&D project in Innovator Labs, and we were crazy enough to experiment and toy with these ideas. One simple mantra that we followed, and I always told my all teams, is that don't worry about the commercial implication of it, whether your idea is successful in the market or no, but dare to dream. Go all out and imagine that what is that you want to create, what is a problem that you want to take up and solve. You will be really surprised if you visit our lab and see that what are the various experimentations, what are the real life problems, solutions, and simulators we have developed using our own technology platform. And we make it kind of boundaryless and completely open mind with flexible approach. If you are wanting to solve the problems using deep learning, whether it is image processing in healthcare, whether it is satellite imaging to feed into some defense intelligence, if it is weather forecasting, doing the geo intelligence, if you want to enhance your customer experience with audio analytics by decoding conversations, or whether it is optical quality control in manufacturing where your remote sites are becoming traceable and visible, building the superior products with computer visioning, whether it is smart city kind of problem that you are wanting to solve with open data, because a lot of open data is available today for the research and student communities. So what we did was that for innovation we really wanted to build a sandbox kind of an environment where we throw innovation challenges to people, be it our team, be it our academia partners, where we work very closely with our academia partners and research communities in solving some of these problems. Then the next point that you made was that what is the demography of this? Our aspiration is to catch them young. And how young, right? Right now we are actually working at a professional educational institutes at probably graduate, postgraduate level, where we are bringing in some future skilling programs in AI, machine learning, data science, and providing them the learning environment in sandboxes. We are very soon launching our community edition so that more people can participate in this crowdsourcing based innovations, and then their student startups or innovation incubation journey starts from there. We also are looking at how we can embrace a very unique program by Indian government of adult tinkering labs that is happening at a school level. Catch them young, and can maybe a school going kid understand that what is artificial intelligence and what is its role, what is IoT. Can they know that, okay, if I put some flow sensors in a RO system or water purifier system, do I know and calculate that how much is the wastewater I am generating for me to consume a pure form of drinking water every day, and what is not a good water for me to drink as a hard water, that hard water is good for plantation. But if I am only draining that pipe in my wash basin, understand that water is going to go waste. So when you are removing the hardness of the water, the awareness at a school level is that, okay, use that for your farm or a plantation. Can we explain that using machine learning models and AR VR technologies, so that we are feeding the curiosity of the students while they are at the school, and we are that way developing that scientific approach, and we are encouraging their curiosity to solve some of these problems. Imagine we putting some sensors into the electricity meters and helping them in monitoring that what is the electrical consumption that is happening in every classroom. And if we put CCTV cameras inside the classroom and everybody walks out, then the tube lights are automatically getting switched off because there is a motion sensor there, right? Now that's a technology and it's fun for the kids. Now when they will look at that, oh, this is the way this technology works, and these are some of the local low-cost solutions that we can develop. Can you imagine what is a likely impact that they will be able to create by putting these into some of the solving some of the complex life problems? And hence, when we are looking at the young age, we are not only looking at them as a market, but we are really looking at developing these young generations as the future citizen data scientists who may solve some of the very, very complex world problems, right? By enabling them with the technology and hackathon or innovation challenges, what we call.
What is your take on Shark Tank India? And where people get a chance to showcase their unique ideas, products, and attract investment.
Well, I mean, it's not fair on me to comment on anything because I've not been following it very religiously, but I know it probably, from a distance. According to me, it is just another TV show, like IPL or like some of the serials which are for the eyeballs and keeping people attracted and engaged. It does bring out, the creativity and how people are thinking of their startup ideas and pitching. But on other side, I also feel that we are encouraging too much of hypothetical business models and inflated valuations, which are unrealistic. And what happens? They get into a very serious challenges of sustainability and scaling up. So what happens? Sometimes it becomes a fashion just to be visible. If you look at the startup statistics, the death of the startups is actually 3 months to about 12 months. How many startups are surviving? So it's not about getting in there, but are you really creating an idea, a venture which is sustainable, which is really an impact making, or probably there's just the fact that you want to do it, or you're doing it because just probably there is a huge commercial glamour and probably you just want to do something from somebody else's money or something like that. Now what happens is that these are some values or attractions that spoil the real spirit of entrepreneurship. And what happens is that then people are only thinking about the MVPs as an idea and doing something to attract an investor, get the funding. They themselves are not being able to deliver the results. So look at what is happening to sometimes we have the unicorn. So everybody wants to become a unicorn, or they think that their business idea is a unicorn. But look at how many unicorns are profitable. How many business models of those unicorns are sustainable. Now it is also up to every entrepreneur, every enterprise. They're two separate things, right? It starts from entrepreneur, it goes to the enterprise, and enterprise has to become more sustainable. Then how much impact that it will create in a sustainable way. So what happens is that these are very good platforms to evangelize, create an excitement. Now if you look at in India, traditionally the startup motion has started few years back. I think Shark Tank kind of forums have brought that into the limelight. Every probably city, every young boy who's actually watching it, now for them pitching as a startup is no longer that complex thing. So it has definitely done that good in terms of decoding that and creating that visibility and bringing in that glamour that everybody feels that okay, like everybody wants to be an Indian Idol for their talent. Startup is no longer an impossible dream. I can do that. People can pick up on some ideas, but being a little serious entrepreneur, not a serial entrepreneur, I would always look for ideas that are more sustainable and that which are more impactful rather than only looking at some hypothetical business ideas to just attract initial round of fundings. So hence probably I thought that that was for probably the younger generation who want to explore that and as a talent exhibition.
I want to ask you, what is the hard part of being an entrepreneur?
Well, I mean, if you are ready to pay the price, there's nothing called hard and soft, right? And entrepreneurship is a mindset, according to me. But let me tell you honestly, that sometimes you feel that okay, what is the tough times, or what are those deciding or defining moments for you in an entrepreneur life? I actually have spoken about this in the past. Every entrepreneur is born with his creativity and idea, but where he dies his death as an entrepreneur is either they are not being able to manage or sustain family pressures or differences, they're not being able to sail through their journey with differences with the partners, or maybe health. Various factors that affect entrepreneurs. And I'm not talking about probably the serial entrepreneurship where you're looking at an exit and start something new. Now, if you manage these three things, your impact or maybe your well-being as an entrepreneur quotient or entrepreneur life you are protecting that and you are growing it. My suggestion, my submission to all aspiring entrepreneurs is that don't only enjoy money making, don't only enjoy work, but look at life in a holistic way. Because why you work, at your office is because when you every day go home, you also want to be nice and enjoying with your family, so that next day morning when you get up, you're inspired to go to work and achieve your objective, so that again same evening you go home and say that, hey, this is what I'm becoming better at life, right? So life is always online, it is always interconnected. Don't look at it in isolation. And when you manage some of these important fronts as essential ingredients of your happy life, then you are ready to pay the cost. So sometimes, what is the cost that you end up paying is that when everybody is going out for a movie, you might have some work calling you at office. Sometimes your energy levels might drain, but you have to charge your batteries because you're not there only at your wish, but you have to also make yourself available, right? So if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you need to really test your attitude, your energy, and your availability, your uptime, right? If these three things are sorted, frankly speaking, skill and knowledge is not a problem. These three things will actually make those essential ingredients. And one of the more important factor is that the intent, which is again your attitude, but the intent is that what is the impact that you want to create. And if that impact is positive, if it is the cause that your team, your customers or society can relate with and be part of, then it can become much more larger purpose in life. And then if it is a good purpose, few comforts and discomforts is not the real cost that you will feel that hits you, even if you have to pay it as part of your entrepreneurial journey.
Rubyscape is a multi-award winning technology product. It's a Make in India product, and you have you spoke about signing MOUs with IITs and leading universities for future scaling. How do you intend to take it ahead? And in continuation to what we spoke about, scalability and sustainability and impact making, what should businesses do to focus on these three aspects?
So when I look back in this journey, I have been in this analytics industry for more than 2 decades. Majority of my time that I have spent as company, be it Intellimate or now Rubyscape, we understand this industry and technology domain. What is its impact and what impact it can create as a socio-economic impact. And that is also one of the reasons when we decided to venture into a product development, build India's first unified data science platform. What we are also doing is that from the initial year in itself, while our product was moving from alpha to beta, test market to launch phase and now growth phase, we actually have been working with some of our customers as trusted partners, where world's one of the largest two-wheeler maker is our customer, Europe's one of the largest automotive conglomerate signed up with us while the product was newly launched. One of the biggest energy company in India also signed up with us. One of the very progressive financial services company also signed up. Then few of the IITs, we have a commercial MOU with them in terms of setting up artificial intelligence and data science labs. We also signed up in defense sector, with DRDO in their AI and application labs, providing them technology to build some of very, very unique use cases, in AI and machine learning. We also have recently signed up with one of the state government projects, for their analytics journey that they are now starting. So if you look at what we are doing is making this as a balancing act. So if we want to build a technology company that is sustainable, that is impact making, starting from our own home country and then globalizing that as a positive impact making, we are operating in the enterprise segment. We are also operating in public sector and defense. We are also working with the government segment, as well as we have already set up more than 10 artificial intelligence and data science application labs of Rubyscape some of these leading institutions for future skilling and providing these technology for people to learn, innovate, launch and scale their solutions with this technology. So in short, we call this concept as a product inside product. Maybe if you are into journalism and you want to do data science in journalism, how can you leverage on this product? If somebody is healthcare professional, how they can innovate models like radiology as a service. How they can think of model driven brain MRI analysis as a service. How an agriculture startup think cultivation as a service as a business model, or how can they think of using drones, soil testing as a service. Now I'm not talking imaginary things, these are business models and these are some use cases we have developed using our own technology. And what we are doing is we are attaching the wheels to this powertrain so that it can have the forward displacement. Now why we are operating on this, it has been challenging as well as exciting journey, because in that sense we are a tech product startup, and probably the aspiration is more to contribute to build stronger digital India, and hence be it education, public sector, enterprise, all these fronts we are building on. Our next real focus is going to be building up the partnerships for scale. How we can scale this Rubyscape business model pan India, and by next year we truly start globalizing this business model. In the journey there have been a lot of pleasant surprises, be it enterprise category or government sector or even defense sector, and I must say that it was overwhelming to know the positive interest that people have when they see made in India innovations are now coming up the age, and they are being able to experience Indian products and use them. The response overall has been quite good in the journey, and that's why we are quite excited and upbeat about our journey in future.